Hey everyone, this is Chris, and you're listening to One Cross Radio, and today we are joined by Mr. Giacomini, Darko to my left.
Yep.
Tommy, so help me.
It has begun.
I will break your phone.
You gotta catch me first.
That's it. D-Mike him.
Mike. You've been to Mike.
So we've got Darko, and then Mr. Mike the Vernacular. Mike, how you doing?
Mike the Vernacular.
Yep.
Mike the Dumpster Knowles.
Like the dump truck? No.
The dump truck.
I prefer dumpster.
I think dumpster's better.
Yeah.
All right, that's
because you can put a lot of things in me.
Yeah. And then like they're removed every so often, and then
take
more
them
gets
out.
put back in.
Yeah.
It's
In this
always a
case,
lot.
we had a giant breakfast, so a lot did go in
I put
and
down
will
that
come out.
breakfast.
You put it all
that
away.
breakfast down like it was nothing.
Dude, that was
I'm still
messed up.
hungry, actually.
I can do Bedrock 2.0. Well, I can do Bedrock 1.0.
And then of course, Christian. Christian, how you doing?
I'm okay.
Most enthusiastic Christians has ever been.
I'm the human Eeyore.
I'm the human Tigger.
And Tommy, you've already been introduced
I have.
through my extreme hatred of you.
Absolutely. Pardon me.
Pardon me.
All right, dear listener, so much of this is going to get cut. I hate this so much.
Why are you telling them if it's going to get cut anyway? They wouldn't know the difference. They wouldn't know.
Well, they will now. They will hear the anger and disdain in my voice.
So they'll be wondering, well, why is when he introduced Tommy, all I hear is Tommy in Chris's voice. Tommy.
Anytime Tommy goes to speak, it's just like, you're cut, you're gone.
That's fair.
Fine breakfast, man.
It's just like a summary of you saying what Tommy said. He said something about this and that. Like some fart noises and it was stupid, and we're just gonna move on.
Anyways,
Podcast that
so well,
Did you introduce Darko yet?
yes,
Like
he was the
Yeah,
first
here's
one
the
I
first one.
introduced.
That's when I got my
Which,
first start in.
dear listener, on a
Hey,
side
Darko.
note, if you Google search Darko, someone's with the exact same name was on the cast of 2009's Dawn of the Dead.
No, From Dusk Till Dawn.
From Dusk Till Dawn?
Yeah.
Well, damn, I was
The
really
series, I guess.
wrong. Oh, the
Well,
series?
that was me.
No, it wasn't.
Yeah.
For real.
It was a short student film. It wasn't like this blockbuster. Yeah,
I
it's like an avant-garde weird.
All right, give me a
And
second.
then the guy just happens to have an IMDb page.
Does it just happen to be this picture?
The whole movie is just that picture. Yeah.
You accessed that very quickly. Do you have it as a favorite?
I saved it when it came up the other day.
Well, he has it as a mug.
Put it on a billboard.
It's gonna be on a billboard.
What was in those pancakes? We're having a good time.
We love you, Chris.
Yeah, we're having a great time.
Then why do you mock me?
Love you.
Why do you subject me to this?
We love your
You
reactions.
gotta have some fun. Yeah.
You make
We're all
everything
alone
better.
out here.
This wouldn't be anywhere near as funny if it weren't for you not finding it funny.
Yeah.
that is kind of true.
Moving on.
So, topic for the day.
All right, so Star Wars is right around the corner.
Oh.
It is.
God.
I'd forgotten about it. I saw a commercial for it
Christmas?
on the television.
Yes, it is right around the corner, right before Christmas.
Yeah, 17th, 19th?
Yeah, something like that. And I can tell Christian really doesn't want to. So if there's a corner, you're free to sit there while we talk about this.
I
know how Christian feels about this.
Oh, yeah.
Start talking about it.
Star Wars. That was a squeaker.
Why are you making so much work?
Just everywhere. You're choosing to make it work.
Yes, exactly.
This is
Everybody
gold.
else is going to laugh.
This is
Everyone's going to love it if you
Pure
release it like this.
gold.
The less fun you find it, the more funny
It's going to be.
You guys
Everyone
make your
else
own
will.
podcast, and you do whatever the hell you want, and that's what we'll do. That's what you can do.
All farts all
Till
the
then,
time.
shut up.
So Star Wars is around the corner.
I hate you so much. So Star Wars.
So Star Wars is around the corner.
So much.
Hey, what are you drinking?
It's Vibe Organic Electrolyte Black Tea, peach flavored.
Fancy. Never seen that before.
It's pretty good. You want to try it?
No thanks.
Okay.
good vibrations.
All right.
I don't want your lady drink.
It looks suspiciously 80s.
80s?
80s?
Yeah, it does kind of have like
what
an
they're
80s
going
vibe to it. Get it? Because
Yes.
it's called vibe.
That's
No.
what they're going for, right?
Yeah, I
It's
think
an
so.
80s
Chris,
vibe.
we'll let you know when we're done.
Yeah, no,
You can go
evidently.
upstairs. We'll.
Today's podcast is sponsored by Vibe.
It could be if we put out a good podcast.
Yeah.
Like this one that we're currently recording.
Free of edits.
You don't attract sponsors with boring podcasts.
It's true. Take it from dumpster.
Seriously,
Who knows?
dude.
Then make your own.
If we do restart, we will just keep farting. It's,
Yeah.
you're not gonna have anything if you're just gonna keep
I will
restarting,
fart
dude.
more if you restart.
We're at a standoff here.
Why do I hang out with you people? Why are we still friends? Why is this a thing? Why am I doing this? I've been nothing but good to you over the years.
I know.
Why do you respect me? Or my wishes? Or what I do?
You need to go pee-pee,
You know what? Screw all of you.
This is if you think that we'll
You need to go
if
pee-pee, wanna go outside?
you're feeling disrespected,
outside?
then I'll definitely act differently. But it's not meant like that.
I know. Alright, so, legit. Let's try to get somewhere.
Okay.
Yeah, Star Wars is around the corner. I know we'll try to skip through this because I know it's not so much your favorite topic.
More like Star Wars.
Yeah.
Oh.
I don't really have to counter much right now. Like, the current trilogy is what it is.
Lame.
Yeah, no, basically.
It's fan fiction.
It's been fan fiction for a while.
Not even good fan fiction.
I still like it.
It's got some good points, but...
I still would enjoy it to watch. But
You know what deters me is that we'll never see a final Star Wars film in our lifetime.
you said that last time.
And I will keep saying it. And I will keep saying
No
it.
less true now.
Exactly.
I think,
Exactly my point.
It's
I
even
think
more
I-
true because of Disney Plus.
But I think what's going to happen with it, though, is there's going to be less than there were before because they had you get a trilogy and you get a trilogy, like friggin' Oprah meme, but with Star Wars trilogies.
Yeah.
And then Ryan Johnson's trilogy is up in the air because everybody got pissed off at The Last Jedi because it sucks.
Well, the
Well,
more
no,
they do,
that it's confirmed he's still doing his.
Oh, I know, but-
Weiss and Benioff, they backed out of theirs though.
Yeah. Well, did that get canceled because of the backlash too? Are you having fun? Go on.
Weiss and Benioff, they backed out of their trilogy because of their commitments to Netflix right now.
But a lot of that seemed like like I'm not casting aspersions. I just know there was a lot of story coming out where Lucasfilm has a pattern right now where they hire friggin' everybody.
Yeah.
And then as soon as it's like, well, this isn't what we want unless the politics are kind of what we want, i.e. The Last Jedi, they fire somebody midway through. You had Lord and Miller, who I think had an amazing Star Wars comedy in them.
I don't know who those people are.
Clone High. Clone High, 21 Jump Street, 22 Jump Street, the Lego Batman movie.
They were originally on
Phil Lord
for,
and Chris Miller.
Solo.
They were originally on Solo. They also did. They were heavily involved in Into the Spider-Verse. These are great. It's a great writing, directing team, but they do really lean on the meta comedy stuff. So I know Star Wars was like apparently Disney did not like that direction. But also, if you know the people you're going to work with, like, you know what they're going to do.
Yeah.
So,
Look at
and
their
then-
body of work and then
Exactly.
decide whether you're going to hire them.
Colin Trevorrow was involved for originally going to do Episode 9, and then I think after Jurassic World.
2?
No, there was he did a small movie after Jurassic World.
There
we go.
Right.
And then basically they around that time they were like, all right, we're going to go in a different direction. Darko has the the fruit explosion muffin.
Oh my.
There's a party in my mouth.
in your mouth.
My issue with the
Yeah.
Star Wars thing is that they're gonna dilute it, right? And then not only that, but the more like the different franchises you make or movies you make or whatever, like the offshoots you make, the more chance you have of messing things up, right?
Mm-hmm.
Right.
So that's why I don't want to talk about it.
I mean, that's why I was kind of excited for Weiss and Benioff's trilogy. I was reading the other day though.
Is there two names? Is it one name?
No,
The
it's-
Game of Thrones.
it's
the Game
a
of Thrones.
dumpster fire.
The Game of Thrones guys.
It's a name dumpster fire.
It is. But I was reading an article the other day about why they don't have the trilogy anymore, and it's like it was a mutual decision between the two of them, Lucasfilm, Disney, and Weiss and Benioff. That they just didn't have the time to commit to it anymore because of their commitments to Netflix right now.
Well, also
But they were gonna do the Old Republic, they were gonna do the 19 Old Republic
That's
movie.
the only thing
But-
I'd be interested in.
Yeah.
But the other issues I think that came up because they also did free no, I don't think there was any no self-awareness whatsoever with that Q&A thing they did, where they were talking about Game of Thrones, where they're like, yeah, no, we didn't know what we were doing. We just kind of lucked through the job, and they gave us $1 billion to reshoot a pilot, which never happens. And it's like, okay, well, you're nice enough guys, so we'll let you keep going.
Yeah.
And then they're saying, we don't know what the hell we're doing on this job. We don't know what to do. So that really lacks self-awareness.
Yeah, kind of shot themselves in the foot. But.
And then also, the backlash towards Game of Thrones that last season. I never watched it, but I know the fan community was, really up about it.
Yeah.
You know what?
And right now, Star Wars...
It's because people are stupid. It was all right. It wasn't what I wanted it to be, but it was still good.
And I think with Star Wars right now, they're trying to get back some of that acclaim. You can notice what the talk has been from Lucasfilm, because at first when the last Jedi dropped, it was all it's a loud vocal minority, it's a loud minority, and then Solo was what it was. I thought it was good.
Solo was fantastic,
but it really came out in The Last Jedi's shadow. It had some of the similar issues, and ever since then
people
they're
were still butthurt by Last Jedi, so they
since then they're trying to get some of that goodwill back behind the brand. It's all right, we're gonna do Clone Wars season 7 on Disney Plus. Hey, you've been clamoring for an Obi-Wan movie. We'll give you a mini series.
Yeah, I'm so excited.
Which
for
I'm in
Obi-Wan
for.
Way better than a movie.
You can see they're trying to get some of that goodwill back that's been lost. That door definitely was not closed.
Just keep giving it to Jon Favreau.
Wanna come in?
He's clearly amazing.
You open the door. That's amazing.
It might have also been hey, when we signed you two on, you were a big name, and there's been a lot of negative press about you lately, and we're trying to get some of our fandom back. So but they're not going to say that because they're also not trying to slay
And if
people.
they were trying to get their fandom back, they would have kept them and let them do the Knights of the Republic trilogy.
A lot of
that's
people,
where you're
but
going to get your fans back.
So much press though after I didn't watch Game of Thrones, but so much press after season 8 wrapped up.
Yeah,
You can see so much of it being these guys are going to do a Star Wars trilogy.
Well, look at the 7 seasons prior to that, and they were fantastic.
Apparently, it
I
stopped
said,
being fantastic at season 5, but
people
again,
were
I'm an
just
outsider.
butthurt. That's all it is. People were butthurt.
To give the Rise of Skywalker, I'm still not crazy about that title.
I am. I'm so excited for it because the Jedi are no more. They're not Jedi anymore. They're Skywalkers. It's perfect.
No, that's kind of dumb.
No, that's the way it is. Luke is so revered that the new order becomes Skywalker.
They're just Skywalkers. They walk in
Don't you get
skies.
it, man?
Don't you get it, man?
But the most recent trailers have been pretty promising. Although The Last Jedi really scarred me, because now I don't want to bank on it being a good movie based on a good trailer. But there's a lot of stuff from the trailer where you're like, what the heck is going on here? You get the classic Imperial Star Destroyers. You know that's not the first order. So do you guys have any predictions? Anything Palpatine's back and trying to take over?
Oh yeah, Palpatine's back for sure.
He's totally back.
Oh yeah, well, you know that from the trailer.
Should've
There's
kept
even
that a
supposed to
secret.
be a young Palpatine at some point. We're supposed to see a young Palpatine. That's one of the rumors that's out there.
In the old extended universe, they Palpatine had clones upon clones.
Yeah.
So many
Yeah.
clones.
It
I think
was
that's the direction
diminishing
that they're
returns
gonna
by
go.
the end of it. At first, you're like, "What? This guy planned for everything," and then it's just again with the clones.
Yeah.
Rey's going bad. That's for sure.
Raising, right?
Yeah, Rey's going to turn to the dark side.
Oh.
Kylo's going to flip to the light. That's what I think.
If it happens, it'll just be what's going on? Not much has changed. This really should be the second movie. The last movie should be gone. This should be
Yeah.
part 2.
Yeah, there's going to be a lot of retconning.
Yeah,
in
well,
this.
and that's the problem. They have to retcon as they go. In The Last Jedi, they tore Luke's lightsaber in half, and it's back here, no problem.
Well,
It was a big focal point.
The first
He's
trailer
got his mask
The first
back.
trailer that came out. Yeah, I was gonna say the first trailer that came out. You see somebody repairing his mask. and I'm just
Exactly.
like,
Where you're just like,
Ryan Johnson, you screwed everything up.
yep.
Par for the course, though.
I'm excited for him to have his own trilogy, though. Like, I think given something outside
So exhausting. It's like-
of like that,
It's
he
like
can-
watching Trump be president. Like,
Yeah, no, he was given such a huge opportunity, and he messed it up so badly. He should not go near anything Star Wars ever
But
again.
what's
least it would be brand new,
kind of interesting with it
All the
is-
things brand new are going to be brand new. It doesn't matter if some ruined a movie is
So-
going to be directing them or not.
a lot of they had a pretty clear outline with the new trilogy. Like Abrams had written story treatments. Don't do it. Abrams had written plans. And then at first Kathleen Kennedy and everybody's like, no, you have to stick to this.
No.
You have to stick to this. And then Ryan Johnson came in and then they were like, oh no, we really like you and yeah, no, do whatever the heck you want, basically.
It's so dumb. I don't know.
JJ should have just done all three.
Yes.
Like the person who starts it, obviously has an idea in mind for the whole arc, right?
Well,
So
they
just
could-
give them all three movies.
Like, it also clearly wasn't a planned trilogy. It also, there's so many problems with this. I definitely think Darko's right. We might not see the last Star Wars in our lifetime,
that's my prediction.
but I think they're realizing, like, we gotta slow it the heck down.
Nah, they're gonna speed it up.
No, they've already announced they're slowing it down movie-wise. There was going to be one a year and maybe a year break, but now it's like, all right.
Yeah, I don't think
They've
the
canceled a bunch of the live-action ones. They're like 2 trilogies got canceled. The other one, you don't know when it's coming. So there'll be shows, but they might make the movies more events again instead of just trying to do Marvel, but with Star Wars, which has never been Star Wars' model.
Yeah. Marvel shouldn't even do Marvel.
I'd love a Darth Sidious show. That'd be fantastic.
Interesting.
Like watching his rise to power. Like maybe they even go back far enough when he's being trained by Plagueis.
Just do the Plagueis book.
Yeah.
Changed around.
Yeah.
As they please.
Yeah, that's true.
Hi.
I like the mustache.
Don't worry, listeners. We can edit this Star Wars out.
Sorry we had to subject you to this.
Of all the edits you make, Chris,
Yeah.
edit out all the Star Wars parts.
Because that has been the weakest material so,
So much.
far.
So much.
Keep everything else around it.
That wasn't
get
funny
out.
at all.
Get
Like,
out.
there's no laughs in that entire.
Cut everything but the farts.
Um,
Just 2 hours of farts.
all right, moving along.
What? It's just like a ton of smoke.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Do not smoke in my house.
It's vape, not smoking.
Yeah, it's
It's totally different.
It's just water.
Is that yours?
This is water
It's
vapor. No, it's not
steam.
mine. Why would that be
That's
mine? Is it mine? No,
Um,
it's
I
not
don't even
mine.
have them.
how are you guys feeling coming out of the election?
It's the nose. It's the nose pad for somebody's
Which
glasses.
one?
The Canadian one, the one we just had.
The ones, all the states ones that we just had. I don't know, man. I don't care. I don't care.
the Green Party had an historic run with their
Yes.
free seats.
Andrew
But-
Scheer didn't win, so that's all.
Yeah,
I care
that's a
about.
bonus.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would have preferred the NDP, but
Overall, I am satisfied with the election results, though not overjoyed.
yeah.
It's just good that the cons didn't win, and it's disappointing that with our electoral system, the number of votes does not correspond to the number of seats. It's first past the post instead of proportional representation. So if there is proportional representation, the Conservatives would have like one more seat, so they'd be in power, or with a minority government. But the Greens and the NDP would also have many more seats. So, yeah. My thoughts exactly.
That was supposed to be a quick one. That was not quick.
It's like insert them where like you can't edit them out.
Yeah.
Where it would be like you'd have to remove like an hour on the podcast if you edit that one.
Don't think I have any problem doing that.
Every time Chris speaks.
Yeah, Chris speaks. Just have like slowly underneath, like. The undulating.
I hate you. I hate you so much.
So we got this back on the rails.
Yeah.
now we're cooking.
We're picking it up
Now
again.
we're cooking. We're all having fun.
Yeah, well, almost all of us.
He's so
Everyone has
I thrive on that.
Oh, my stomach hurts because I'm
Screw you guys. You guys suck.
Aw, come on.
That's pretty good that you got 2 mixers.
Yep.
You can make 2 cakes at one time.
Sure. I think we've got another one somewhere too.
Wow.
Oh,
Actually,
I'm taking
we do.
one of your mixers.
No, you're not. Those are Jill's.
She
will
won't
kill
even
you.
notice.
Oh, she'll murder you.
She's gotta find me first.
You gotta catch him. He is pretty quick.
Mike knows where he
I'm
is.
wiry.
I'll find
He's
out.
look at him. Look at him. No resistance. No wind resistance. Whatever. He falls through the air.
So then, will he be able to
I might
lift
look like a
that?
hairy man because of the mustache and the long hair.
Well, if anything, it'll just like
Shit.
it'll lower his center of gravity, and he'll just
Totally smooth, like a seal.
I think he'd just be like,
you know like one of those
That's way better than what I was going to say.
segways, and you
Oh,
lean
yeah?
forward, and all the momentum just starts pulling it forward.
I've seen a lot of those lately.
What's gonna
I've
happen
been
with him?
marathoning Arrested Development.
Yeah, probably.
It's a good show.
It's easy to marathon because you only need to watch the first 2 seasons, really.
The 3rd season's pretty good too.
Yeah.
It's alright.
If you're dumb. I haven't seen any of them. Man.
So good.
You haven't seen any of them?
I literally
The
don't.
I really like the
you
first.
love-
I really like the
Right,
first
you
3.
really like
yeah,
it.
no,
Right
I,
up your alley, man. Yeah, only
Dude.
the first 2 seasons though. Seriously, skip 3.
Well, 3 is
I say
good.
skip
3 is good, man.
Yeah, dude, don't
Skip
just-
every.
showed me Arrested
skip,
Development.
skip the Netflix season.
Well, I must
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
100%. 4 and 5.
The revival seasons
know.
aren't that good.
We could stop and just watch it on loop.
But the seasons,
I
I,
remember
I really like 3 as well.
Weird.
It's not the best, but it's still really solid.
Yeah, it's just like when you compare it to 1 and 2.
With 3, they knew they were going to be canceled, and
Yeah.
they kept fighting it. So I don't know if they brought their A game, or maybe they did, and I don't know.
They really screwed the pooch on that one.
There's so many good lines in that show though, where anytime I rewatch it, I'm always catching something new.
Yeah,
Where it's
it
just
was
like there's so many layered jokes.
It's so intelligent.
There's so many good callbacks.
Yeah.
So good. I mean,
I think
very inappropriate, but also hilarious.
Did you guys have a moment? Remember we were talking about like the Simpsons and what moment in the Simpsons ruined the Simpsons for you?
when the show died.
Yeah, when did AD
When did
die?
for me, probably legit the 4th season.
Was there a moment though? You got through some of it. So it was
I got through probably around the 1st or 2nd episode, just because with everybody's schedules, the show wasn't what it was. Like it was too focused solo on the other characters, and then just shot around. Where I'm like, the stuff isn't that good, and I want to see everybody interacting together.
Yeah.
Like that-
They lost me when they went to Netflix.
That's where that's where the magic was. Season 5, I know they brought some of that back, and there's some really good one-liners, but it's still not. It doesn't have that magic that the first 3 seasons did.
Season 3 has that really great reveal. With
Oh,
yeah. That was pretty good. That was I'll give you that, but-
towards the end.
I don't
That Lindsay was adopted. That's the reveal, right? Yeah.
Oh, you didn't have to.
Spoiler alert.
say
Yeah,
that
sorry.
much. Anyway, how about them Tie Cats?
They are playing
They're
today.
playing today.
Seems
Seems like everyone knew but us.
Yep. I hate you so much. So many of the things you choose to be, I don't understand, and I don't appreciate.
Oh, have the turntables.
That's just funny. I was listening to Dan Harmon's podcast, and he had the creator of Arrested Development on as one of his guests, and he kept making all these jokes about how Netflix ruined his show.
Michael Hurwitz?
Yeah,
Oh man.
I was like, they're still paying him a paycheck, right? Can he say these things? But yeah, he can.
Well, yeah, Harmon even after he got brought back was still like dogging on NBC while he was while Community was on the air.
So wait, how did Netflix ruin his show? Doesn't he have control over it?
Basically, it's like to me, I don't know how you can put the blame on Netflix because they're not a network that, at least to our limited knowledge, would interfere, being like, you have to do this, you have to do this.
They're like, oh, this thing worked. We're gonna bring you on and then try and change
Here's a bunch of
everything.
money.
That's
Just go to
exactly.
not their thing.
Like, I think it's more so like you can't trash Netflix in this. It would probably be more so like, you haven't gotten. It doesn't have the same.
He lost it, and now he's salty.
Yeah. It got
That's
canceled,
exactly
and then how many years was it in between season 3 and 4? Like
3 and 4, 2 and 3.
no, 3 and 4 because
Years.
Like a year.
it was like what, like
years.
8
I want to say
years?
like five
There's
years.
got to be at
almost.
least 10, I'd say.
Yeah,
10 years between 3 and 4.
Michael Cera
because
did
it
a lot
because
of
it was
work
on Fox.
between-
Well, no, between 2 and 3, it was like
It was
It was like a year.
not even like no,
It was a regularly.
It was-
yeah, no,
it was
it,
1,
like
2,
Fox.
3.
The first season
Wait.
had 24 episodes. The second season had 18, and then the third season had 13. And they were still back year to year,
Yeah.
but it was a critical
okay,
darling,
so-
but never a ratings hit. And Fox kept switching the time it would air around,
Yeah.
and
Sorry,
then by
it
the
is-
end of the third season, they knew they were getting canceled.
so. Season 4 was where they reversed the chronology of
It's
this.
where everyone had like there
Their
was the
own
Buster
storyline.
episode and there was
Yeah.
the Michael episode.
You could watch it in any order. That was season 4.
I think it eventually tied up at the end, but yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so
Yeah.
But then they recut it like last year, so
To make it
flows
better. Yeah,
like the series used to.
It was like linear.
Yeah, I haven't. I might try that part, but I just haven't yet.
Okay, so season 1 to 3 are
Yeah.
the great ones.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
season
thought-
4 is when
I
they-
really
thought-
did not understand your beef with
Yeah,
3.
right.
I'm like, what are you talking about?
I thought
It's-
there was only 2%.
yeah, no.
But between 3 and 4, there was
Yeah.
like
Well, it's like
almost a
it's
decade.
a 10-year gap. Everybody had been like Michael Cera's career blew up
and fizzled out.
and then fizzled
Yeah.
out. Jason Bateman was like still
got a
doing
ton
a lot
money,
of
so
stuff,
he's
and
fine.
everybody had
He's got Ozark. He'll be fine.
everybody like moved on to other stuff, and
Yeah.
like you're gonna lose some of that mojo and that like constant creative juice. It's gonna happen.
The same thing happened to Trailer Park Boys when they went to Netflix. They lost me when they came to Netflix. It wasn't the same.
Well, I think it's hard.
about
I
that
think it's difficult too because so much of the time when you're on a network show, you've got like censors constantly telling you you can't do this, you can't do this, you can't do this. Something I appreciated about Community season 6, like out of all the shows that were canceled and then continued on a streaming service, I found that one like the best one because
Yeah.
they really like they figured out how to keep what their show was at that time, but still not be like, okay, we can do whatever the heck we want right now. Wait, what do we want to do?
I thought you were
Like,
gonna,
where's that line now? Because we can do free reign.
I thought you were gonna make the point. This is something I think about a lot. Like, I remember reading this quote from Jack White where he basically would use the number 3 as like sort of a rule when he was making music with the White Stripes, right? So you have like 3 colors, black, white, red. You'd have, like 3 chords, just 3
Right.
like powers of 3. Like, and it was just basically in his words, it was like an effort to basically curtail his freedom. So if you're working within constrictions, you're more likely to come up with something better, or
Right.
like if you have too much freedom, then you have no direction.
Yeah.
Yeah, he does that all the time. He always challenges himself.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Have you seen the It Might Get Loud documentary?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think that's probably
yeah,
where I
he
heard
goes
that.
on
Fantastic.
and I've seen it so many times. It's so good, yeah.
The Edge is somewhat a
He-
place
he-
on that documentary.
I'm
Yeah,
so
he
down
really
for
is.
this there.
Here's my effects pedals.
Yeah.
I just play one chord, then I loop
one
it.
note
He has,
with like reverb on
An
it.
entire room of just floor to ceiling racks
Yeah.
of just effects and all, and it's like, dude, like you clearly had a mental breakdown, and he just has too much money to like
Yeah.
be pooping himself.
He's
out.
not a guitar player.
And I think he's
just
professional.
not.
I think he can be. I think he is. He can play guitar,
Yeah,
Yeah, but he doesn't.
but
like kind
he
of.
just restricts himself. Too
He
much.
even points out how like generic he is in the movie.
Yeah.
He's like, see, I'm just playing an E.
Yeah.
And then it goes wah wah wah. If
if
you turn off all the effects,
was-
it's just
There was something similar to like there was a documentary that came out a couple of years ago about the first 3 seasons of Next Generation called Chaos on the Bridge, and so many people at the time, they were like, the writer turnover in Next Generation, especially that first, second, and third season, was insane. And Roddenberry was really involved in the first season, and so many people were like, this is such a box, like this is ridiculous, I can't write this, like no conflict, no nothing. And then some of the most successful writers on the show were like, this is very limiting, but this also, like, this challenges me as a writer, because conflict is an easy thing to go to.
Yeah,
It's like the thing that you're like, it's censoring, it's also like, that's the, not necessarily lazy, but it can be. That's the way to go. Okay, so now we have to think creatively. How can we have conflict, but within these rules?
are you trying to make like that like a are you trying to make the point that us not making fart jokes and swearing is sort of the same thing.
No,
We have
No.
to constrain ourselves with these rules to be civil and.
no, I was echoing your. You jerk.
On that note,
No, I just thought you were just like.
You
Well, I
think of
mean,
that.
it also sort of relates to what we're doing here. It's just like.
forcefully trying to interject the rules
That
on the podcast.
was fairly passive aggressive. Congratulations.
I would just aggressively be like, "Listen, you jerks."
Like you have been for the entire time.
For this entire day, this is what you've made me, Christian. This is what you've brought.
You teach people how to treat you.
You brought this evil out of me.
You brought this juju in the house.
Your fart
Chris,
juju.
that's racist.
What? I didn't even say anything.
We all heard you
And
say
then
it.
Darko, how?
Now,
Yes.
Darko's not Jewish.
No, seriously, is juju like a race? Like legit?
no.
Oh,
It's
okay.
like voodoo juju. You know?
Okay. Yeah, no. Well,
it's like an onomatopoeia.
Yeah.
It sounds like the thing that it is.
Chris Darko's not Jewish. Just
You go to my house,
me.
Juju.
Juju?
It's
That's,
like less
Dar-
offensive if you double it.
that's your new nickname.
Juju.
Juju.
oh my goodness.
Have you seen Jojo Rabbit yet?
No,
How
I
is
need to
it?
see it, but I haven't.
I heard like
We'll go
great
on
things.
Tuesday.
I heard great things initially, and then it, like the reviews became more and more lukewarm.
Yeah.
That's the one where the kid's friends with Hitler, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I want to see that.
Yeah, I was gonna see it and then I was tired, so I didn't. And then I was gonna see it last night, but I just forgot.
I saw The Lighthouse.
Oh, the weird art film with
yeah.
yeah.
Wait,
I'm
with
not
who?
sure what this is supposed to be. It's Willem Dafoe and Robert Pattinson. They're like the only actors in the movie. It's
So, the Green Goblin and the future Batman.
Yeah.
yeah.
I'm actually kind of excited for him to be Batman. He's
Yeah. Robert
he's a good
Pattinson is
actor.
Batman in The Batman.
He's a really good actor, though. Forget about his Twilight days.
Yeah. He's trying to.
This has been fun.
That's
They,
the dumbest thing I've ever heard.
I'm trying to remember who they cast as Harvey Dent.
Who cares?
They recently did
Because it's
cast Harvey
stupid.
Dent.
It's like
No, but they're pulling out all the stops for it. Like the Riddler's supposed to be in it, Penguin's supposed to be in it.
yeah, who's gonna play the Penguin?
Catwoman has been
Donald Trump.
No, if they're smart, they'd bring back Danny DeVito.
Donald
because-
Glover is playing.
Yeah, have Donald Glover. Yeah, that sounds it's probably an appropriate choice given all the other casting choices they've made so far. Why don't they just cast?
No,
Why don't they cast Buddy from Kings of Queens?
Colin-
why don't they
Colin
cast
Farrell is
Kevin
gonna be-
Kevin James? Yeah, Kevin James should be the Penguin.
Kevin James.
Yeah,
Yeah.
You know, yeah, Pattinson's
What
Batman.
about,
Why not James? How about we get Steve Burchant? How about he should be the Penguin? That'd be
You're
perfect.
gonna
He
eat
would be
those
that
words when
bad.
that movie comes out, man. I'm telling you, it's gonna be good.
Just get Danny DeVito.
What's the name of? Oh
Danny
man,
DeVito
what's his
is
name?
Penguin.
He was in.
He
He
already was
in
the
Raw
Penguin.
Get him
Video,
back.
or he
It
was in
doesn't make
Pirate
any
Radio.
sense. That would be a good choice.
Philip Seymour Hoffman.
Yeah,
We're talking
he
about
would.
Batman.
If
Stephen Merchant.
if Chris Nolan was ever going to use the Penguin, like
Yeah.
Philip Seymour Hoffman would have been amazing.
Stephen Merchant.
Well, I mean, he was just good at anything he did.
Yeah,
Yeah, he was
Chris.
great, yeah.
I'm not knocking him. I was just complimenting
Robert
him.
Pattinson.
Robert Pattinson's like he's over.
That's what he is.
He's like gone on record in Twilight.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, nobody hates Twilight more than he does.
And ever since
He
those
can
movies,
really
he's
act.
like done increasingly art house movies.
Yeah.
I need you to say Robert Pattinson is
Robert Pattinson is
Agreed.
31, Christian. You're 31.
Oh, okay, speaking of 31, listeners,
I got 31 parts here for you.
let me describe to you a situation that I experienced at the restaurant.
This amazing experience.
Where my good friend Chris Cook, a 31-year-old grown man.
He's
32.
Oh, 32. Sorry, my bad.
Chris.
It really doesn't.
Yeah, it really doesn't. It
I
actually makes
own
it
up
worse.
everything I do. I don't care. It was hilarious to me.
What did you do? You took the salt
First,
shaker.
it was the fork.
First up,
You took-
oh yeah, no. I put
Michael-
Mike's fork in his glass.
Another grown man. Yeah, you took.
You ruined a man's water.
I put Mike's fork in his glass of water.
The
And
best.
then I put his knife.
And then half of a pepper shaker. The best part though was when Mike had to ask for replacement water from the waitress and explain to her that
My friend
To be
ruined it.
fair,
I mentioned
I
the
asked
challenge
for it
friend.
for him. I was like, "Excuse me, can I get a refill and a glass of water for my friend because I ruined his?"
I, a grown man, put a salt shaker in the glass of my friend here, and
A salt shaker?
a second
pepper
Brunette.
shaker.
Pepper shaker, but
The
whatever.
whole thing?
Yeah.
Not most of it.
No, I
He was holding it and then he
butt down. I put it in the
Just
water.
the tip.
The dirt part.
The dirty part.
But I love the waitress's reaction where she tells the other girl, we need another glass of water over here. This one gave his friend cooties. I was like, yes.
Christian and I honestly don't see a problem here.
I believe you're trying to say that I'm a hypocrite for some reason. And
I think you are,
can't-
but I can't see it at all.
I can't
these are
apprehend the point you're trying
These
to
are
make.
two very different things.
I'm just going to assume that you're an idiot and that you don't know what you're talking about, and I'm just going to move on.
I think you're in the wrong here, and you know,
You shouldn't open your mouth again for the whole podcast.
and get out.
Just go stand on the porch until we're done.
Oh my gosh. All right, so here's a random question. I know I sent you guys a while ago, but
You're
it was
Jewish?
the random question I had for you guys was ages ago. We ended up on the topic of documentaries, which was kind of fun because you can make a documentary about anything and it can be awesome. I think one of you two said, friggin', you had watched a documentary about like laundry soap or something really weird
have
like
no
that,
idea
but
what
you
you're
enjoyed
talking
it.
Laundry soap?
Just some random documentary.
I don't think you were talking to us.
No, I was. Maybe I
Mr.
dreamed it.
Sparkle?
I don't know. Oh, one of Luna's whispers just. All right, so if you could make a documentary, filmmaking talent and budget aside, like just you could get out. If you could make any documentary about whatever the heck you wanted, what would you do?
Okay, so I found out that after my dad passed away that he had actually had a child with another woman, but and he was married to her, and the child died either like shortly after or like during childbirth or something like that, right?
Oh wow!
So my dad had a mental breakdown after that, and then they divorced. So I wanted to make a documentary about going to see her and telling her about like my dad passed and like asking her about what happened and asking her about the kid that they had and like where she's buried.
Traumatizing her.
And yeah, kind of, right? But not really. Like, well, she's like 60 something, so I don't think she'd be traumatized. But
We're bringing up all these horrible memories for her.
well, I don't know if they're horrible. That's the thing, right?
I mean, well, yeah.
Well, that's the whole thing about documentaries, where it's like you have to take that jump, you have to take that shot, where it's like, you know,
Yeah, it's a leap of
and
faith.
it's not like I'd show up on her door unannounced. By the way, here I am with cameras.
You wouldn't Michael Moore it or anything like that.
No, I would like email
Clear
her
everything
and
first,
get-
and-
I'm not going to go to the States to surprise some woman I'd never met. But yeah, no, it's that's something I really wanted to make a documentary about, and I really thought. And I know I was listening to there's this podcast called I can't remember the name of it right now. But it's this guy. He goes and people send in stories about things that they in their past are unresolved, and he goes and like, for instance, there's this one woman who, when she was a kid, she had a falling out with her friends group, and she had no idea why, but she woke up one morning and they had written the B word on her garage door, and they never talked to her again. And she had no idea why. So then, as an adult, she went back with her son, and they
Oh wow!
reconnected with the girls, and they all tried to figure out what was going on, right? And what he was going to do was he was actually taking submissions for documentaries and stuff like that. He was like, send in your submission, and then we could like get something made, right? And I was thinking of sending an email to him
Yeah,
to try and do that, because I'd like to talk to her,
Yeah.
because I'd like to know what happened to him, because even nobody in the family knows what happened to him during that time, right?
yeah.
And it really, like, he clearly, like, I know you knew my dad fairly well. Like,
Yeah.
he clearly wasn't well, right? Like,
Yeah.
he's, like, to say he was high strung is
An understatement.
an understatement. So, like, clearly something, it affected him, like, deeply, right? And I can't get answers from him now,
Yeah.
but, I mean, she would be the next best.
I don't think he would, even if he was around, you know?
I don't know. Yeah, there's so many things where, like, we never really talked.
Yeah, your dad
but-
played it close to the chest.
Yeah, but I think it was just, there's so many times where he said to me, he's like, oh, you know, I think there's a lot that we don't need to say to each other. And I'm like, now that he's gone, I can't say anything to him. It's
Yeah.
like, there was a load, there was a whole bunch that we
Yeah.
needed to talk about
Yeah.
with each other.
Yeah.
And we didn't, right? And so I think, like,
That's how I feel
now,
with my dad, too.
yeah, like, now as I'm old, I'm just like, dude, I would totally, like, I wouldn't take no as an answer either, right? Like, I'd be willing to fight with him to get any answer out of
Yeah.
him, right? And it's a real man. That's I mean that A, that's what I'd want to make a documentary about, and B, that's one of my. I'll never not regret that.
Yeah.
Like I'm never gonna get over that.
Yeah.
Right? What about you guys?
Oh, you win.
I know what my documentary will be about.
Why is it a
Life is a sport.
Another competition.
Let's do a documentary about how messed up Mike is. It's a competition.
Gentlemen, my documentary.
Yeah.
Dear
Peter did a
listener,
book.
just so you know, Tommy said nothing of value. We are moving on.
Nothing of value.
Yeah.
No, that wouldn't be my documentary. I don't know what my documentary would be.
Number 8.
Good question.
Mike, you sounded like you had one. Tommy, definitely think on it. Come back.
I don't know really. The first thing that came to mind, and I think this is kind of topical, is what are you heating up?
Just coffee.
Oh, okay. Just exposing the pedophilia ring that is in the United States, well, in the whole world, for the rich and famous.
Yeah, that's a good one.
People need to know.
Epstein.
Yeah, Epstein and Trump and the Clintons and
Epstein didn't
the
kill himself.
royal family. Yeah, have you seen that everywhere? I love it. Every time it pops
Epstein
up, I
didn't kill
love
himself.
it. Yeah.
I actually wouldn't mind doing an expose on the seedy behind the scenes crap that goes on in kitchens.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. I think you could tie that to the pedophilia documentary.
I just mean
You're exposing it.
there's so much shady stuff that goes on, like in terms of owning a restaurant. You literally make no money by owning a restaurant. That you have to be involved in shady things to stay afloat.
I think that would be hilarious if you were like doing this expose on how seedy the restaurant world is, and there's footage of you being seedy in the restaurant.
It's just you doing seedy.
It would be just me.
Just an hour and a half of you doing illegal
Just you
things.
committing crimes. Did you know there wasn't a single other person in that documentary?
No, there is, but it's just me in a mask.
It's all in selfie mode.
It's not even a mask. It's just like a thing of pantyhose over your head. Your face is clearly identifiable.
Cut out eyes and nose and mouth from like a magazine and just tape them on.
Jackman's
Darko.
face. Ryan Reynolds'
Darko,
face.
do you have any thoughts?
Yeah, I'd like to do a couple. One would be like the resurgence of reanimated 80s and 90s TV shows. Like
We're
the,
just at the resurgence of reanimated corpses, and I was like, "Does that really happen?
When did this happen?
When did it happen the first time so it could reemerge?"
Reanimation.
Should be a lot.
Nation documentary by Darko Turkin. It's just me grave digging. These corpses.
Here I go digging up graves again.
Yeah,
All of our documentaries are just us committing crimes.
Speak for yourself. Or, hey,
I think
this was good.
Spoiler alert, I break into her house and I'm waiting for her when she gets home. That's how I traumatize her. See, that's why Tommy thought I was going to traumatize her, because he just assumed that I was going to break in and wait for her.
I didn't assume nothing. He just told me his plan before.
Anyway, yeah, the obsession with like nostalgia,
Right.
especially in the media. That
Everything today sucks.
yeah, and like, why is there an obsession to like reanimate all these shows? That even Frasier is
All these
being
corpses.
Yeah.
Frasier is apparently being released in 2020.
Dude, I've been saying long time, like, I would love to be watching Frasier right now, and if they're going to remake any old show, Frasier would be the one to
Yeah.
make, man.
It's gonna
I-
suck, man.
You're gonna
It
I think
you already do something.
if the concept is what I think it is, I think it's actually gonna be pretty good. And it's that Frasier is living with his
Dear
son.
listener, I really wish you could have seen
son is
how
now Frasier,
annoyed
he's
and
now
angry
Martin,
Christian
and-
was just then. He got so defensive of Frasier. It was such a shot
I'm
of
defensive of Frasier.
genuine emotion. Genuine
Frasier was the
emotion.
best show.
I don't feel
on
much
TV.
and I don't
It
feel
was.
often, but when I do,
I feel strongly and debatably violently.
hate about things that Darko says and believes.
Frasier is my favorite TV show, which
what-
is why it's gonna suck to see it ruined.
But Tom said that it sounded like a good premise, like he was going to be the new Martin.
Yeah, Frasier's gonna be living with his son now, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay, so what are you doing differently?
Nothing. That's the why
Yeah.
it worked before. Why are you going to change it,
they ended
idiot?
Oh, and then we'll wait for his son to grow up, and then we'll reanimate him.
Duh!
Right, yeah.
I think
in the
there's
next one, it's going to be a female. They got to throw a daughter in there.
I think there's potential
Equality and
here
all that.
for.
And they wrap things up so neatly. It was like it was perfect.
Right.
It was a perfect show. Every episode was fantastic.
I think there's a potential for it to succeed, but I definitely get where you're coming from. Just because, like, Faulty Towers is one of the best comedies ever, and they've tried to recreate it like 5 times, and not once has it worked.
See, the problem is that they stopped in the first place. If they just kept going like Coronation Street or Sesame Street or any of the other major street shows,
Any of the streets.
Or if you're Law and Order, you just keep going.
exactly.
Yeah, you just
like
branch off and do some spin-offs. You got your SVU.
Which,
and
on a side note, there was a Law and Order show called Trial by Jury or something, and it lawyer side of things.
Yeah.
Get out.
Did you see the John Mulaney skit where he's talking about Ice-T? Basically, like, even though he's a detective and he's been a detective with the force for like 20 years, every time someone talks about like, oh, this kid was molested or something, and he's figuring it out for the first time. He's like, wait, so you mean like when someone bets too much on the ponies, or like when they smoke too many cigarettes?
Oh yeah,
or like,
yeah.
It's a really good bit. It's a really good
It's like
bit.
that would be my perfect SVU episode, and it's just him naming examples for an hour, and then all of a sudden you just see produced by Dick Wolf. It just fades out. Oh, you mean like?
Jill and I got into SVU for a while, and then they had the DA Barba show up, and that actor was amazing, and I'm like, friggin', why'd you waste the Trial by Jury show? Bring it back, just give me a Barba show, and I don't care about any of these people except Ice-T, because he's just Ice-T and it's funny.
Yeah.
But just give me the Barba show and I'm in, but now he's left, so I'm like, screw you, SVU. I don't care about you anymore.
Good. It's just a disturbing show.
Yeah.
It is.
There's no variety. It's the SVU. It's just like every episode is about rape.
Yeah, it gets really depressing.
Yeah.
If you binge a season of that, oh man, you're coming out crying.
There was one really good episode though.
that.
I remember where like a kid was legit a psychopath, and they like the doctor who was what's the guy who plays Wu in Jurassic Park? Fiendish
B.D.
Dr.
Wong.
Wu. Yeah, B.D. Wong.
No.
Fiendish Dr. Wu.
Yes.
He's like, I was looking to the eyes of like I haven't seen those kind of eyes like since I wasn't in death row with a prison. Well, sorry, with a prisoner. I can't speak. And then the kid was like, "You're looking at him." I'm like, "This is a kid that's going to become Michael Myers."
Yeah.
Anyways,
By the way, I heard
catch me?
the new Halloween is pretty good.
the new Halloween is outstanding.
I still have
Take
to
out the
watch
table.
It is.
Great.
The new Halloween is outstanding.
Okay.
You mean the new?
The one that came out last year.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because there's a new one that they're just.
Yeah,
Oh, really?
Now, I guess.
Oh.
yeah. No, there. Well,
Yes.
that's the thing. There was going to be a sequel. At first, they were going to shoot 2, and then they decided to do 1. And then because it was such a success and made for so cheap, they're able to go nuts.
You talking about Jurassic Park?
No.
No.
Damn it.
Oh, you blew it.
I blew it. Jurassic Park.
Yeah, to hop back to the documentary one, that could be interesting, but yeah, I'm also not really.
Yeah, we got the Darko.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, the nostalgia,
nostalgia,
one.
yeah.
The nostalgia
Oh,
one.
okay.
Yeah.
Why we're fascinated with nostalgia?
What are you talking about? To understand why people love Frasier and why they want more of it, Darko.
Or would love a Frasier documentary.
Or like how The Simpsons became so awful. That'd be a great documentary.
They dropped
yeah.
all the Conan writers.
It's crazy
Yeah.
that there's.
They got a bunch of
Conan
kids who
himself.
weren't
Wait.
born when Simpsons came out. Now they're writing it. And
I had no idea it was in its 30th season. I knew it was. I thought it was
That's
still
ridiculous.
in the 20th,
ridiculous.
20s. But when Disney Plus rolled out, I was like, "There's 30 seasons."
yeah, they should just stop.
3 to 9. That's it. That is it.
Yeah, that's fair.
Maybe 10. Maybe.
There's a sprinkling of good episodes.
There was
The first 2 were very like they were more emotional.
there was a couple episodes from the 21st season that made me laugh a lot. Like it was surface laughs because it's just kind of stupid.
Yeah, that's what I
But-
mean. There's sprinklings of good episodes after season 9 and 10, but
But yeah, no, it's just got some of the stuff where it's just like that random stupid humor where I'm like, all right, this has me. It's funny. If I want a deeper laugh or deeper think, then yeah, 3 through 9.
I think they started taking their cues from Family Guy. That's why they started sucking.
Didn't they start sucking before Family Guy?
Yeah, they started sucking before Family Guy came on.
I think
Yeah,
Family Guy took the cues from sucking
Yeah.
from the later seasons.
Yeah,
I still laugh really hard at Family Guy.
Yeah,
I
I'm
love
just gonna
Family
play
Guy.
it in front of you, and then I'm just gonna film you, and then
Yeah.
anytime you
Play
talk,
me like your favorite episode from the last, I don't know, the most recent episode. What's
Season
your favorite?
16, the one where Brian has that insensitive tweet, and then like everybody, there's the cancel culture, and then Meg and Chris have to kill everybody in their school. Amazing episode.
It's really stupid.
It's an amazing episode.
I've seen a clip of it.
Oh, that big lunchroom fight?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was good.
That was a really
and
good episode.
that was just
And that was an arc for like 2 or 3 episodes.
wasn't that also just
Brian
like,
moved out,
hey, this
got a
was in
job.
the Kingsman and the Kingsman was awesome, so let's just do it here.
I have no
Yeah,
idea what
that's
that
basically what it
is.
was.
Yeah, okay.
What's the Kingsman?
It was a movie.
It's a movie
It was
that's
really
tough to
good.
see.
Yeah. If I would,
Good.
if I was going to make a documentary for whatever reason, I'd do one about the struggles of public transit. Get out. No, just like if you ever look at
So stupid.
like there's so many things on like the Toronto has abandoned like bus lines, like rescue bus lines, some really good stuff,
Even
and
like Lower Bay Station.
yeah, no, like Lower Bay, Lower
Bay's
Queen,
great.
where they film stuff.
Yeah.
They're
There's
still using it.
there's so many transit gaps, especially in that city, and there's so many stuff where they're like, we're going to do it, and then for whatever reason, someone was an idiot and said we're going to cancel Transit City.
Well, that's been
City
happening
Council.
for decades.
Yeah.
No, I know.
Back and forth,
But-
back and
and
forth.
that-
Nothing's getting done.
No,
Nope.
and that's the thing. Like
never
that's
will.
where when you look at the stuff and you see how much better transit, especially in that city, could be. It's like I'd love to have that documentary just to have the conversations. Like, why did these get canceled? Because this would really help the city. It would really help traffic in the city. Like, why did it take so long to get a train that goes to from friggin' Union to the airport? That should not have only launched 2 years ago.
No, I shouldn't. I think the best solution is like some sort of bomb or something that would maybe take out the entire city, of course. And,
You're just escalating that.
So you're just saying,
Over.
I get where you're going though. Like a hard reset. You've played The Sims a little bit too much, probably.
no, because I've been thinking about like there's all these like conversations and debates going around on these topics, and when you sit down and you think, and if you have no attachment to like these preconceived notions or like the orthodoxy of the day or whatever, right? If you just come in, you're like, okay, what's the best way to do this with the least amount of time and money and effort?
Right.
And nobody seems to be coming down and saying like, why? There's no need to debate any of this because we can just use data and science to come to any conclusion. The most efficient way to use any resource for the most amount of people, right? And so like, there's little things like that where it's like people are fighting over stuff, and it's like, why don't we like? It doesn't seem possible for anyone to just sit down and be able to say, hey, I think we all basically know what needs to be done. Why don't we just do it? So if we're not even capable of doing that, and when you think about, obviously that's the solution, and then you feel that sort of hopeless helplessness of like that'll never ever be, and it makes so little sense, and it gets you so angry and so hopeless that you just want to destroy the whole damn thing.
You alright over there?
You know what? I don't want to be alive ever again.
I want the world to
So maybe my
How do you really
backup
feel?
maybe my backup documentary is Christian's descent.
Into madness.
Start the
Madness,
fire. It was all
No, just like because
the fires.
I think you made I think you brought up a good point, but so many so many people are like, this would be great. Like
Smoking?
Transit City would have been a real.
I'm sorry, Chris. I'm sorry. I thought it was funny the first 8-9 times. Now I'm not on board anymore.
But it's going to start to get funny.
Yeah.
It's gonna reset.
It's like when
It's
Peter
cresting.
fell and hurt his shin. It stopped being funny, then it started getting funny again because he was doing it for so long.
Or that time when I kept saying in my pants at your house, you got mad at me, and then
it got really funny again.
I'm waiting for it to get funny again.
It'll be funny again, don't you worry.
Oh, where's the part?
Don't do this to me, please. Don't do this to me.
I think is that a real
That sounded like a door.
Darko loves it way more than he ever wants anyone to know.
No.
He's trying so hard.
He never wants you to know, but he loves it.
Hey, Darko. That's fantastic.
For you.
I'm gonna have so much work to edit this one.
This pinch is for you.
This pinch. Who pinched the hooch?
Oh, I got to talk to Darko about something when I come back in.
Oh.
Oh. Drama. No.
Yeah, so that I guess that would basically be my podcast, or not podcast, because this is my podcast. But that'd probably be my documentary. Just transit city issues. Donald Trump.
Oh.
Son of a.
Yeah, that'd probably be it. Part of that's also because Hamilton's getting a new LRT system, just along King, that a lot of people are upset by. Some areas there's gentrification, so I get that that's bad. But having it, if they do it right, like the LRT line could be really, really good.
Did you say gentrification?
He did.
I did say gentrification.
Who's John?
Pronounce it correctly then.
Gentrification.
Damn it!
You made it fancier than it actually is.
I feel like a French speaker. Gentrification.
Gentrification.
I'm practicing for Montreal, alright?
Are you going to Montreal?
Yeah, because my brother's getting married next year.
Oh yeah, I heard about that.
Yeah. The only other one I could think of would be just like if ever I was working on a movie with Mike again, just do the making of while you do it, because most of the documentaries I enjoy watching, aside from The Toys That Made Us or World War II in Color, is just making of documentaries with movies. Just the behind the scenes stuff is so interesting to me. There was a really good one for Clerks, and then also another really good one for Clerks 2.
Clerks-based documentaries.
Just especially the stories for those little movies where you don't have like the huge financial backing of a studio behind you. Where for Clerks, it's like, yeah, he got $30,000 debt in credit just to finance the movie. Yeah.
Yeah, those. I mean, he's definitely carved out his own niche. It's like,
Oh yeah.
everyone calls him like the Tarantino of fart comedy. 'Cause
Not once have I heard anybody call him that, but
People.
who's this everybody?
Everybody named Darko.
I've heard people say it. Did you just record yourself saying it and then play it? So
Yeah.
No, I looped it, so it sounded like more than one person.
Yeah.
And I did different accents, so
Yeah.
it just weird.
Put through a voice modulator.
I was wearing a hat. Not that that could be recorded, but it helped.
I also had a mustache.
Yeah.
No, like, and I genuinely like Kevin Smith. He seems like a good guy behind all the crudity, and he does have a lot of value. I think it's enjoyable and at times a refreshing take where he's just like, as everybody can, and at times justly is negative on a lot of the superhero movies. He can just be like, look, I grew up when we never got any of these, and the ones we got were crap. So at this point, I'm just thankful for everything I get. It's like, that's refreshing.
Did you ever see Tusk?
No, I want to though. I know it's weird
It's yeah.
because it's a dude who becomes a walrus.
It's like his weird attempt at a horror movie.
Well, so was Red State,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
and Red State had a lot of promise. Like
yeah.
it
was boring. It didn't
it
nothing really happened.
could have had more promise. And at one point, his original plan for the ending, because do you remember it enough if I reference stuff?
Were we going to talk about the middle part?
No, the ending part.
No.
Because at the end, it's like the trumpets blare, so it was supposed to be like signifying the end time.
Yeah.
And his original ending was like the angel of death was going to show up, and it would have been basically Armageddon and stuff. I'm like, dang, that would have been interesting. But then instead, they were like, yeah, we don't have the budget to do this. So
Also, it sounds like Dogma.
well, yeah, no, well, he's like, if I was ever going to do a sequel to Dogma, it would have been wrapped up in this.
Of any movies that I would love to see a sequel for from Kevin Smith, it would probably be Dogma. Like, nothing else really worked. Like, I could have done without Clerks too. It had its funny moments, but
Yeah.
I mean, it didn't really need to happen. It was just like,
Well, it's not one I visit often, but the thing I like about it, and when he announced he's doing Clerks 3, I was genuinely happy for the guy because he's been trying for ages. And then, of course, he had the heart attack, and then now he's just like, I'm going to try until it happens, or if it doesn't, like, I'm not going to, like, let things slip. But I like the genuine heart that you get in the Clerks movies behind all the potty mouthness. Like, Clerks 2 at its core is a movie about being in your 20s and still trying to find your way, or being in your 30s and trying to find your way, which is something I feel like a lot of us can relate to still. So it's got a very, very, very potty mouth, but a nice heart. So I hope I enjoy Clerks 3.
Well, that was like reboot.
Yeah.
It had heart to it. There's like a lot of father-daughter stuff.
Yeah.
And, yeah. There's. I think I mentioned to you that there's like a spiritual sequel to the Chasing Amy speech in it.
Yeah.
Which is really nice.
Yeah.
Well, and they hadn't planned that. Like, I haven't seen Reboot, but he didn't plan that because when they first went to shoot, like, he was like, nah, Affleck and I don't talk. We're not, like, my boy doesn't want to talk to me anymore because I've shared one too many stories.
Yeah.
And then basically an entertainment journalist just asked Affleck, like, hey, have they called you for Reboot?
Yeah.
And then that's how it happened. And then suddenly he wrote, like, a spiritual successor for Chasing Amy, and he's like, this is the heart attack movie, so this speech is what has to sum me up.
No, it was nice, that speech.
Nice. Hey everyone, hope you enjoyed today's episode of One Cross Radio. It was the first of 2 parts. Come on back next week for part 2 of Derailed, a conversation with 5 friends. Hope you enjoyed, hope you have a great week, and God bless, my friends. Take care.